son can't tell me what day. You know what day it is?
Saturday at 1.
Huh. Saturday at 1. He's like, I think we played Thursday. Saturday at 1. Is it at Platte Valley? Or is it? Yeah, that's because Wild West was number 2. That's how they do it in Georgia, too.
Fewest home games.
It's fewest home games, and then if you both play the same amount, it's a coin flip.
Okay. Fewest home games in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Platte Valley had one less home game, so
yeah, they get to host it. So if you're undefeated, that doesn't matter in Colorado.
It doesn't matter at all. 4A, 5A, any of it.
Wow.
It's not. You get to stay at home if you're the high seed.
I still haven't figured out these RPIs and how you get ranked, but okay. All right, thanks for coming. Utah State this week. Senior day for our seniors. We're going to honor 17 seniors that have played for the program. And what an opportunity these guys have to play one of the better teams in the conference, if not the best team in the conference. Coach Wells has done an outstanding job. This was a team, I think they were 4-8 last year, I believe. They made a bowl. That was the year before. They made a bowl and played, they were playing New Mexico State in the bowl game. But they were a bowl team last year, and now they've got a chance, to play for the conference no matter what happens in our game. They play Boise for who goes, I believe, correct? Is that correct? On the, this offense averaging over 50 points a game, week in and week out. They rush for about 225 a game and throw for almost 300 a game, a balanced attack. They will spread you out. They like to go fast. Run a lot of zone plays, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of things that we have had trouble with this year. Defensively, they base out of a 3-4. New coordinator, Coach Patterson. Similar stuff that they've done since we've been here. Very active up front, very active in blitzing the linebackers. Some experienced safety guys, especially with Gage Ferguson, number 23, as a transfer. That played a lot, started last year, very physical guy. So this is a big test for us. Obviously, we're not playing well as a football team, and you got an opportunity to play one of the better teams in the conference on senior day. And I'm excited, for our seniors. I'm excited that we have another opportunity. Obviously disappointed in the outcome last week and how we played that football game. We'll try to address some things and move forward this week and put a better effort on the field Saturday is what I expect. Hopefully we'll have a good crowd. It's an afternoon game, I believe 12 o'clock. Is that right? 12 o'clock game. To honor these seniors and honor Colorado State, and we need to do our part and put a better foot forward, to have a chance in this football game.
Just a couple senior day notes. Braxton Davis isn't on. He hasn't been on kickoff. His plan to redshirt him and chance for him to be a kicker next year.
The plan is to redshirt Braxton Davis. He was emergency going into this last week if something were to happen to Wyatt. Now that we're not, bowl, have a chance to go to a bowl, he will redshirt. I don't see us kicking him in either game moving forward in the Utah State or Air Force game. And that was the plan all year. He used to be an emergency, kick him in 4. If something happened, he would have to kick, but he'll be, the plan is for him to be the kicker next year.
And also JC is going to, looks like, graduate early.
Yep, JC is declared he's going to graduate. I'm not sure if it's this semester or next semester, but he, had a conversation this summer. He's going to be a senior. He's going to graduate and then try to go somewhere and play next year. JC's been a great student, a great ambassador for Colorado State, and we've had our communications and talks, and look forward to honoring him and what he's about on Saturday and helping him move forward and finding him a place to play next year.
When you talked to us after the game, you said you need to find some guys that are fighting. So when you went back and looked at the film, did you see guys that weren't, and are there changes coming?
Well, you're obviously always disappointed, when you lose a ball game, and then when you lose a ball game in that fashion. All week, and I was really proud of the guys. I thought we practiced extremely well. There was intensity in practice. There was excitement, and then we go out there and it's like, well, we didn't need to practice to go out there and play the way that we did. Looked at the film. There's obviously a lot more fight than I thought. It was just inability to execute on offense. Really, the whole ball game did not feel like did a good job calling the plays. I did not feel like we did a good job executing the plays that I called. From 3:35 in the second quarter to where it's 13-0 to I believe 7 minutes in the third quarter to go. That span right there went from 13-0 to 42-0. Another basic collapse on both sides of the ball, inability to do anything, inability to stop momentum, and we cannot stop the snowball effect in a ball game by making that one play or basically just executing. I did see more fight than I thought in the ball game, but then again, we're gonna figure out what gives us the best chance to win this week and who gives us the best chance to win, and that's going to be decided through practice, and then those guys will play against Utah State.
Are you in a position, though, where is it a tough position as a coach? You want to try and start looking at next year, or is it still all about this year?
No, it's both. It's both. Got a guy like Josh Watson, who I think played extremely well in this last ball game. We got a couple of young linebackers. Josh Watson deserves to play and play, as many snaps as he can for Colorado State, in this last home game. And, but there's a young guy that's as good as an older guy and give him more effort, then that young guy's going to play. I owe it to, everybody on this football team that the best guy plays, regardless of age, regardless of looking forward. We still want to put our best foot forward, to win the ball game.
Mike, when you talk about good practices, you guys have been saying that for the last several weeks. Why do you think that's not translating on game days?
I don't know. If I knew, I think we'd play better on game day. I don't have the answer to that.
Do you change up anything in practice, trying to
we've
mix
been
it up?
changing things up as all year of what we've done in practice. There's always little changes based on, how you are health-wise, what you feel you need to work on that week. We're just not handling the game day environment very well, and being able to handle adversity, so to speak.
Also, will KJ play again this year?
I don't. We'll see. I don't know.
Going back,
He's number 2 right now.
do you have some younger guys on your roster that have shown you some things that you want to see more of them this next 2 weeks?
Well, Quinn Brennan is a guy that's played. Cam Carter is a guy that's done some nice things. Getting Owens in there in the game last week, a corner, did some nice things in the game. For defense, he got beat on the one touchdown. He was in good position. He's got to get his head back, but he had color on color. He's got to get his head back. That kid made a great catch. So, that's a guy that you might see more of moving forward. Tywan Francis, came in at nickel and, had a PBU there in the ball game. Got beat on a touchdown, had the wrong leverage, but, that's a guy that I can think of. Offensively, a guy like maybe Joctavius Phillips is a guy you could see the last couple of games. It's going to depend on how he practices, moving forward. E.J. Scott is a guy that could get more opportunities if he continues to practice well. He practiced well the last 2 weeks, and he got some opportunities in this last game.
You talked about your play calling. You said you didn't call a good game, but are you having struggles calling a game with your offensive line performing the way it is? Because you did talk earlier this year about the way you could call a play could cover up for some things you may or may not be doing well up front.
Right. When you don't execute very well, your first, initial thought is I called a terrible, I called a terrible game. You're not able to get first downs. I think it's a combination of both. There were some things that you look at the film that I could have called better that would have gave us a better chance to execute. And then, on the flip side of that, there were things that we didn't execute well that had a chance to be successful. But I'm always a guy that's going to look at myself first and things that I could have done to give ourselves a better chance to move the ball offensively, and we did not move the ball very well. We've been struggling all year to be consistent, but we weren't even, we didn't even have any really good moments, in that game until the game was out of hand.
When you look at the way Utah State's been winning games, Love can throw for a ton of yards or they can run for a ton. Their defense scores points. What stands out most to you about the way that they've been handling teams?
Well, they're very efficient on offense. They're balanced. you know, they play fast and give you problems. They've been able to get leads in ball games, and then when you get a lead, they've been able to be opportunistic on defense, not giving up the big play. And I think teams tend to, you know, press when you get down, you know, become more and more one-dimensional, and that gives them opportunity to get after the quarterback a little bit defensively. They got a kick returner. I think their number one kickoff return unit in the conference, you know, is very good. Their back's extremely well. The quarterback's playing at a high level. It's the second year in their system with Coach Yost moving over, and you can see the improvement with them offensively. And then defensively, they're opportunistic and usually playing with a lead. So I think you got to do things to try to slow them down. Number one would be able to get first downs on offensively and keep the ball out of their hands. Not necessarily, you know, slowing the game with your tempo, but you got to get first downs and, you know, make them a little bit uncomfortable, make them try to play. Maybe, you know, hopefully you can get a lead, you know, and I don't know, we don't know what playing with a lead is like. I don't think we played behind in every ball game this year except for that 50-something yard field goal against Arkansas. No, San Jose, we had a lead. But you know, try to make them a little bit uncomfortable. Everything has been where they've had a lead. They've played extremely well. The Wyoming game was tight, but they still had a lead. And then they get a lead. You know, you can't turn the ball over. You can't give them a short field. You can't allow explosive plays. They're gonna get some yards. You know, they're gonna be able to move the football. So you better be good in situational defense. Can't give up explosive plays for touchdowns. And you get in the red zone, you know, you got to try to hold them to field goals. So I don't think you're going to stop this offense, you know, because they're balanced and they play extremely well. Got a quarterback that started 2 years in the system, but you got to try to slow them down by being efficient on offense, making plays in the special teams, and not giving up big plays defensively. There's no secret, you know, to anything. We can't go out there and change wholeheartedly, schematically, what we do offensively or defensively. There are little tweaks that we can do, but, you know, it comes down to playing, you know, getting guys on the ground, which, you know, we didn't do last week. You know, we can't give up big plays over our head for touchdowns, but then you can't allow a run to spit in the secondary and not get it down. You know, miss 2 or 3 tackles and the ball goes, you know, down to the 1 yard line. You got to get guys things on the ground. And on the flip side, I know I just said it, you got to be better on offense. You got to be better on offense to help your defense. And offense is not helping the defense. Defense is not helping the offense. Special teams did a pretty good job Saturday. I mean, we won a turnover battle and basically won a field position battle and got beat, you know, 49 to whatever it was because of explosive plays on giving up explosive play defense and inability on offense to do anything.
When you,
That's why I talked as long as I did, so I hope you can forget your question.
no, I wanted to ask you, no, Utah State, do they look to you like a top 20 kind of team? I mean, the College Football Playoff Committee left them out of the top 25 last week, even though they were in the top 16 in both major polls.
I mean, I don't know what those guys look at in that committee. I'm sure that they, you know, watch a lot of tape and study who you're playing and, you know, base it off of strengths of schedule. You know, you hear every now and then, you know, when you're watching some TV. But, I mean, they look like a very good football team that is one of the best teams in this conference that can win the conference. And, you know, I think if you can win this conference, you know, you ought to be ranked in that poll, is my personal opinion. So they're not even ranked in the poll by the
They weren't last week.
Fresno was 23. Yeah, well, you know, maybe they'll move up, you know, and take Fresno's play. But you know, they are 9-1. Is that right? 9-1. They had lost since the first game when they had a chance to win that game late in the fourth quarter. Played them extremely well. You know, and I think Michigan State ran the option there to take the go-ahead, an option play to the tight end. But, I mean, they haven't lost since. They played extremely well. I mean, you just look at not that they've won these games, how they've beaten teams. The closest game, I believe, was Wyoming, 26-17. Wyoming's a very good defensive football team, but they weren't executing at probably the level that they had all year, but they found a way to win when everything wasn't perfect. I think they held them to 100 yards passing in that game, and they still found a way to win. So back to your really original question, they're one of the best teams in this conference. You know, I think if Fresno was ranked, I think they should be ranked, but I don't make those decisions. I think it'll all play out, you know, at the end. I think a lot of that has to do for Group of Fives. It's what you've done the year before and how many years you can stack on consecutively of being very good to get consideration to be ranked high. Now, they might throw a team in there 23rd, 21st if they're having a great year, but I think it has to be consecutive, kind of what Central Florida's doing right now, and now they're, you know, higher in that poll. You know, if a team does it one year and it's, you know, not consecutive or there's not a tradition of that Group of Five team doing it, then I don't think they'll be ranked high. I think it's got to be some team that's got some tradition in the Group of Five, or that team's done it a couple years in a row. Good? All right, guys. Thank you.